Here in the United States, if you asked any racing fan to list all the national divisions of NASCAR, they would probably respond with the Cup Series, Xfinity Series, and Truck Series. Some that are more well-versed in stock car racing might mention the ARCA Menard Series, which NASCAR officially bought out in 2018, or even the Whelen Modified Tour. But what many fans, including myself, often forget is that NASCAR has 4 more national or international series. However, none of them run a single race in the US. Those include the Pinty Series, Mexico Series, Whelen Euro Series, and the Brazil Sprint Race. Considering that not only are US fans likely unable to attend any of their races, but also that NASCAR does not widely advertise them, it's no wonder that most of you watching this video now are unfamiliar with the drivers in these series or even what their cars look like. But while they may be significantly less popular than their US counterparts, their racing product is not any less entertaining, and because of that, I feel they deserve a bit more recognition. That said, in this video, I'll be going over a brief history of each of these 4 series, and giving a status update on how each of them are faring roughly halfway through the 2023 season. Starting first with arguably the least known of NASCAR's 4 international series, the Brazil Sprint Race. This series is in its first year under NASCAR ownership, and as the name suggests, races mainly within Brazil. Though it is newly under NASCAR ownership, the series is in its 12th season overall, as prior to 2023, it operated under the GT Sprint Race title. It was originally founded in 2012 by Diego Marquez with the intention of it being an entry-level series that would prepare young drivers for higher caliber racing, such as in the Stock Car Pro Series, or as it was formerly known, Stock Car Brazil. Prior to 2021, the series had no manufacturer support and fielded 1 custom car type for each of the 3 classes. Those classes, in order from highest to lowest prestige, are Pro, Pro AM, and AM. Now with NASCAR's involvement, the 2023 season sees the cars split between Chevrolet Camaro and Ford Mustang body styles, all with 300 horsepower and 3.6-liter V6 engines. This series has actually ventured outside of Brazil 4 times, first with a visit to Uruguay's Autodromo Eduardo Prudencio Cabrera in 2018 and 2019, and then to the United States, both at Sebring and the Homestead Miami Road Course in 2019. I would guess this sprint race could easily return to the US in the future, but this season they will remain with an exclusively Brazil schedule, featuring 8 race weekends and 18 races between 6 different circuits. The biggest change to the schedule this year is that for the first time ever, the series will race on an oval, that being in Goiânia on July 30th. That decision came from NASCAR, as their ultimate goal of hosting the Brazil Sprint Race and International Series in general is to graduate select drivers from outside the US into their main divisions and potentially even the Cup Series. And in doing that, it goes without saying that these international drivers would be benefited by any oval track experience they can get. Speaking of the drivers, and the teams for that matter, last year was Rafael Teixeira who won the Pro Championship, while Arthur Gamba came out on top of the Pro AM class, and Giovanni Girotto took home the AM title. Or at least for the overall points, as the series divided up between the regular Brazilian Championship races and select special edition races, each of which have their own end-of-year points, and from each, every team may drop their worst race from being scored in the final overall points. Additionally, the points format is fairly similar to how owners' points work in the Cup Series, because the car entries actually receive the points rather than the drivers themselves. Given that, it is legal for no more than 2 part-time drivers to split the races in 1 car, and combine their points in order to be eligible for the championship. And that's just what Luciano Zinguirolami and Sergio Ramalho of the Pro class were able to do last year en route to the title in the Brazilian Championship. Now this year, heading to the 5th overall round at Goiânia and the first of 2 special edition rounds, it is Leo Torres and Julio Campos who share the top spot of the Pro class's overall points, having won 4 of the 8 races thus far. Meanwhile, in Pro AM, Leonardo and Rafael Reis sit on top of the standings with 5 wins, and in AM, Henry Couto leads the way with 4 wins. However, unlike the more established international NASCAR series, there are currently no drivers in Brazil's sprint race that have competed in NASCAR or ARCA, but I'm sure that'll be soon to change. Already from just the schedule, points format, and other miscellaneous rules, I can feel confident saying that the Brazil sprint race is the most unique of all NASCAR series. And that's even before I've gotten to the racing itself, which is timed. Yeah, the sprint race is the only NASCAR series that featured timed racing as opposed to racing a set amount of laps. According to their official website, each race is intended to last 25 minutes plus a final lap. Or in other words, once the clock runs out, the next time the leader crosses the start-finish line, there will be one lap to go. Also, in the event of a caution on the final lap, the race will be given one overtime attempt, in which 1 or 2 extra laps will be added on to hopefully provide a green flag finish. So if this series is of interest to any of you all, luckily all NASCAR Brazil races are live streamed on both Facebook and YouTube completely free of charge. So I for one will definitely be checking out the inaugural oval race at the very least. Anyway, moving on to the next international series, but still keeping us south of the US border, up next is the NASCAR Mexico Series. Originally called Desafio Corona, or in English, the Corona Challenge, this series was founded in 2004 between NASCAR and the Mexican entertainment group OCESA, with the goal of increasing stock car racing interest in Mexico. And they succeeded well beyond their expectations, as not only did this series grow to become the premier stock car racing series in Mexico, but it also incentivized the construction of 4 new oval speedways and the new oval configurations of several pre-existing road courses. On top of that, the Mexico Series even raced in the US at one point, as between 2013 and 2015, the season opener was hosted at Phoenix International Raceway. Over that time, the series changed title sponsors as well, first being renamed to the NASCAR Corona Series in 2007, then to the Toyota Series in 2012, and the Peak Mexico Series in 2017. Unfortunately, 2023 will mark the first season without Peak as the title sponsor since they began their sponsorship, but that'll not be the biggest low point for the series by any means. That would be the 2016 season, or the complete lack thereof. See, with the return of the Formula One Mexican Grand Prix in 2015, after a little over 20-year hiatus, the NASCAR Mexico Series promoters decided to cancel the entire 2016 season in order to instead help support the Grand Prix. This would force all their drivers and teams to shift their focus to other types of racing or suspend their operations entirely. But thankfully, this cancellation would only last that one season, and the series would return with a full schedule from 2017 onward. Before moving on to the 2023 season, though, I must first mention that the Mexico Series actually has their own version of the Xfinity and Truck Series. Starting with the Mikkel's Truck Series, this series was actually the predecessor to the main Mexico Series as a whole, as it was founded in 2002 and ran 2 full seasons before evolving into the original Desafio Corona. Though the Truck Series seemingly disbanded in 2004, it would return in 2017 to help young drivers gain experience before entering the Premier Series, and it has grown ever since. Since its revival, 2 of their champions have gone on to either compete in ARCA, as in the case of 2020 champ Andres Perez de Lara, or even the NASCAR Truck Series, as in the case of 2018 champ Max Gutierrez. Now for the Mexican version of the Xfinity Series, or as it is officially known, the NASCAR FedEx Challenge, this series was originally named the Rito Neon upon its creation in 1994. Similar to the Truck Series, Rito Neon was somewhat dissolved into the new Desafio Corona in 2004. However, renamed the Mexico T4 Series, it actually continued on and acted as a feeder series all the way up until 2010. It was then that it was replaced with the NASCAR's Stock V6 Series, which itself was then finally replaced by the current V8 supplied NASCAR FedEx Challenge Series in 2017. It is also important to note that the FedEx Challenge is really more so a class as opposed to a series, as they run alongside the Mexico Series in their races, while the trucks race separately. But getting back on track with the main Mexico Series, there were several active drivers who are known for their accomplishments in US motorsports. Those include again Andres Perez de Lara and Max Gutierrez, in addition to former Truck Series driver Herman Quiroga, the USF Pro 2000 winner and current IndyCar prodigy Salvador de Alba Jr., and the ARCA East winner and 3-time Mexico Series champion Ruben Garcia Jr. And of course, regarding former drivers of the Mexico Series, I can't forget to mention the 10-time series winner and now NASCAR Cup Series winner Daniel Suarez. Anyway, the 2023 season is already well underway and is led by de Alba Jr., the only driver thus far to score multiple wins. Quiroga and Perez de Lara rank 2nd and 3rd respectively, each without a win, and the defending champ of Garcia Jr. sits 4th after taking the win at El Dorado. Though again, field sizes are deceptive with both the Mexico Series and FedEx Challenge running together, I would still argue that Mexican NASCAR is more competitive than modern ARCA, as every race features roughly 35 cars, and of them, around 20 to 25 typically finish in the lead lap. And these aren't short races by any means. The race at the kilometer-long El Dorado Speedway, for example, lasted 252 laps. And even the most recent race at the Puebla Roval was 75 laps. So yeah, definitely check out at least a few of these races over the rest of the season. The racing product is amazing, and like the Brazil Sprint race, you can watch them all for free and live on YouTube. But now, switching over to the third of the 4 international series, we're going to take it above the US border with the Pinty Series. Out of the 4, I would argue the Canadian League is the most well-known here in the US, likely due to a cluster of their racetracks being near to the border, and the fact that English is the primary language of all Canadian provinces except Quebec. However, that doesn't make any of their races easier to watch, because the only places they are streamed live are TSN Plus and Flow Racing, both of which require paid subscriptions. Even the delayed replays are only shown on the Canadian-based TSN and RDS networks, which most of you watching probably don't have access to. But as far as the history of the series, before NASCAR came into the picture, it was known as the NASCAR Super Series, an all-Canadian stock car touring division that was founded all the way back in 1986. Almost immediately, NASCAR became Canada's premier stock car racing series, and with title sponsors over the years such as General Tire, Budweiser, and Castrol, it was clear that they had the backing and competitiveness necessary to attract the attention of NASCAR. That said, at the end of the 2006 season, NASCAR would purchase their Canadian counterpart and would officially rebrand it into the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series, their second internationally based series. The inaugural 2007 season saw a great battle between the greats of NASCAR, such as the 5-time champ Don Thompson Jr. and the defending champ J.R. Fitzpatrick. But in the end, it would be the champ car driver and stock car rookie Andrew Ranger who went on to pick up his first title. Despite only winning a single race that year, Ranger showed great consistency with 7 top 5s and 10 top 10s throughout the 12-race schedule. But that was just the beginning for Rangers. Not only would he pick up 2 more championships, one in 2009 and his most recent in 2019, but he would win at least 1 race in all but 1 season leading up to 2023. And that includes in 2021 when he won 2 races in the Rick Ware Racing Dodge, the first and only 2 NASCAR wins thus far for the notoriously slow Cup Series team, but actually not the most recent NASCAR wins for Dodge as a manufacturer. See, while Dodge pulled their support from the NASCAR Cup, Nationwide, and Truck Series following the 2012 season, the Canadian arm of the company continued supplying their national series through 2019. And even then, with this series being relatively budget-friendly, the old Dodges were still viable enough in 2021 for LP Dumoulin to win his 3rd championship in one, and for Kevin LaCroix and DJ Kennington to score a combined 4 wins in them just last year. However, the manufacturer that is notably absent is Toyota, which has surprisingly never competed in the series. Anyway, come 2016, the once Canadian Tire sponsor series came under new title sponsorship from the fresh and frozen food company Pinty's, who have maintained their support in every year since. Now in 2023, the Pinty Series is 4 races deep into their 14-race schedule, with all but 1 so far having been won by the standout 19-year-old Trayton Lapsevich. But with 4 other drivers, including the defending champ Marc-Antoine Cameron, still yet to finish a single race outside the top 10, this year's championship battle is still alive and well. Similar to the Mexico Series, the Pinty Series also features a plethora of drivers who are competing or have competed in the top 3 divisions of NASCAR, such as the previously mentioned Andrew Ranger, in addition to Rafael Lessard, Alex Labbe, DJ Kennington, Dexter Stacy, and former IndyCar driver Alex Tagliani. So even if you don't have access to watch these races live, the short track and road course racing action provided by the Pinty Series is highly underrated and worth a look into, even if it has to be via delayed YouTube uploads. But moving onward to the 4th and final of NASCAR's International Series, we have the Whelen Euro Series, the only division of NASCAR that is not based in the Americas at all. Upon inspiration from NASCAR, the series was founded by Jerome Galpin and his family business Team FJ back in 2009, and it originally ran exclusively in France. The next year, they scheduled their first international race in Germany, and from then on out, they began expanding to race all over Europe. From the beginning, NASCAR was in contact with Team FJ as they were interested in breaking into the European market and viewed this series as their opportunity to do so. That said, in 2012, NASCAR began its official sanctioning of the series, and it would be renamed the Euro Race Car NASCAR Touring Series, before again being changed to the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series in 2013, which it has been known as ever since. Throughout its history, the cars of the Euro Series have resembled Cup Series cars in appearance and have featured 5.7-liter V8 engines with 450 horsepower. There have always been two classes within the series, first known as Elite 1 and Elite 2, in order to separate drivers based on their levels of experience and achievement. Renamed to Euro NASCAR Pro and Euro NASCAR 2 in 2020, these classes run 2 races each per race weekend, very similarly to the Brazil Sprint race, in order to maximize the number of races across their very limited schedule. In 2023, the series will only feature 6 rounds and therefore 12 races, in addition to an all-star endurance race in Croatia. As far as drivers go in the Whelen Euro Series, it was the Frenchman Lucas Lasseret who won the first 2 championships in 2009 and 2010, and because of that, became the first driver from the series to be invited to compete in the NASCAR Toyota All-Star Showdown. That event was more or less the All-Star race for the then NASCAR Can-Am Pro Series East and West divisions, and upon their initial involvement in the Euro Series, NASCAR made it a promise that they would invite the Euro Pro champion to it each year in an effort to better the driver's chances of racing full-time in the US. However, so far no drivers have gone on from the Euro Series to race regularly in NASCAR's top 3 national series, with the closest to doing so being 2-time Euro Pro champion Loris Hezemans, who so far has made 12 starts. Of those, 5 of which came with his own Cup Series team, Team Heisenberg, just last year, in which he finished a best of 33rd at both Watkins Glen and the Charlotte Roval. But Loris wasn't the first driver with roots in the Euro Series to compete in the NASCAR Cup Series. Rather, that would be the 4-time and defending Euro Pro champion Alain Day. Day, also the first Israeli driver to compete in NASCAR, would make 2 starts in each of the Cup, Xfinity, and Truck Series, where he finished a best of 13th behind the wheel of an MBM Motorsports Zombie Dodge in the 2016 Mid-Ohio Xfinity race. Right now in the Euro Series, it is Gianmarco Ercole who leads the way in points, with 3 wins and 5 top 5s across the first 6 races. Following close in second is the inaugural champ of Lucas Lasseret, and right behind him is Anthony Kumpen, a Belgian driver who competed part-time in the Xfinity Series between 2015 and 2017, and who drove this cursed-looking car on his way to 2 Euro Pro championships. Though not many of the Euro Series drivers have gone on to race stock cars in the US, a handful of NASCAR's up-and-coming drivers have gone from the US to the Euro Series so as to gain road course racing experience. Some of those include Mike Snyder, Jeffrey Earnhardt, and Brandon Godovic. Additionally, veteran Cup Series driver Bobby Labonte and veteran F1 driver Jacques Villeneuve have both competed in a full Euro Series season, but surprisingly, neither of them would be able to win a race. Villeneuve, however, would go on to score his first 2 career wins in 2021 by sweeping that season's final race weekend in Italy. So, if you want to check out this European road racing for yourself, you can do so with ease, because just like the Mexico Series and Brazil Sprint race, all Whelen Euro Series races are live streamed for free on YouTube. But that is all for today's video. Again, if you guys are already fans of the lower divisions of NASCAR here in the US like me, all 4 of these international series are well worth checking out and keeping up with, as they all put on just as good of racing, in my opinion, as any other NASCAR series. And who knows, maybe you'll end up being able to see the next big Cup Series star before they make it big. But yeah, that's all I've got to say for today. So if you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like these. And until next time, peace out.